Oh, happy Monday to you. I'm meteorologist Justin Gehrts with a 10 Weather Impact Show.
And I'm meteorologist Aaron White, and kind of a watch and wait situation here today. It's been pretty quiet, but we're watching all these storms to our west right now, and a pretty active situation out there with severe weather in parts of Missouri, even into Indiana now, and watching all the storms over the last couple of days, really. It's been active.
Yeah, a lot of severe weather off to our west, and thankfully we haven't had to contend with that so much here locally. But we will have some thunderstorms coming up later on this evening into tonight, and we can break down all the timing for that. And you're actually going to talk more about the severe weather outlook off to our west, where they're looking at some of those big storms happening right now.
Yeah, because I mean, it's pretty substantial, and there's even active tornado warnings right now around St. Louis, so we'll dive into that here in just a moment. But our forecast, we still have some rain to deal with here locally.
Yeah, we do, and a few rounds of it, as a matter of fact. Now, for the afternoon, things are looking just fine. We have our warmest day for quite a while today. We'll see highs in the upper 70s to around 80, so enjoy that. Now, tomorrow's not going to be bad. We're still talking mid-70s for a high, but then later this week, early next week, 50s to lower 60s are looking pretty likely. Again, we have some storms coming up tonight and then a wet start to Wednesday ahead of us as well. We'll go through all that in just a moment. All right, I'm not going to dwell too much on this right now just because Aaron's going to be talking more about it here shortly, but there are those areas of rain and storms off to our west coming our direction. Some active severe weather down that way, but for us locally, we're on the edge of that level 1 out of 5 risk. Could be a couple of gusty storms as they work into western Ohio, but as these get farther and farther east, they'll be losing some of their punch. And I'll explain why in just a moment. Here's your impact forecast. Again, for the overnight hours, especially probably the first half of the night, rain and some thunderstorms work through, so make sure you have the 10 TV app on your phone. You can check radar as those storms come on in, and if they wake you up during the night, also check on that just to see how things are shaping up. All right, so here's why we're going to see those storms diminish as they come our direction. I'm going to look at the storm energy, and the more hot colors you see, that's more energy. Now, you'll notice there's a lot of it off to our south and west, but as we go into the night, a lot of it just diminishes it. So that's going to be one of the factors that we look at. You notice it does pick up a little bit tomorrow, right ahead of a cold front. I'm not really anticipating any storminess tomorrow, but there is going to be enough energy in the atmosphere to produce some pop-up showers, especially in the second half of the morning into the very early afternoon hours until that cold front slides by and takes away any of that leftover energy. But again, those storms will be starting to lose some punch as they work their way east. Just the same, though, there will be some storms coming in. Clouds gradually thicken here that you'll see on your hour-by-hour forecast. And as we head towards 6 o'clock this evening, some of that leading edge of rain may be sneaking into the area. It is going to be running into some dry air, though, so I think some of that's going to fall apart. Going to be watching the main line of thunderstorms come in mainly after dark, the way things are looking. Now, that line of storms is getting into Indiana, and its current timing would suggest that if that's the line and if it holds together as it is right now, it might be a few hours faster than what this shows. This is showing around midnight cutting across the area. It could be close to maybe 9 o'clock or so if, again, the current trends end up holding and there's no changes to that line of storms. So keep an eye on that. In any case, it is really the first part of the night that we're watching for some storms. By 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, the rain is way off to our east, over and done with. We do still see clouds around for the morning. You'll notice as we head toward 9-10 in the morning, a few little spots of green showing up on the map here, and that continues into the lunch hour. That's along that cold front, again producing a spotty shower during the day tomorrow, especially leading up to the midday hours. In the afternoon, though, that slides off to the east, and we see some clearing. Should be a nice end to our Tuesday. With, again, highs in the 70s, tomorrow's not going to be bad, especially when you consider the afternoon and evening. Then we watch another disturbance roll up the Ohio Valley tomorrow night into early on Wednesday. That'll produce some areas of rain across central Ohio. Could slow us down in spots for the morning drive on Wednesday, so have that in the back of your head. You want to check in on things Wednesday morning to see, all right, am I going to need an extra 10 minutes to get to work just because the roads are a little slower than usual because of the rain. Best chance of rain on Wednesday is in the morning. Then during the afternoon, we still have clouds around, maybe a straggler shower or two, but for the most part, it is a morning situation. Now, we still have some sunshine coming through the clouds that we have here at 2 this afternoon. We'll call it filtered sunshine for the time being, but these clouds are going to get thicker as we go throughout the day. 76 is our current temperature, winds out of the east-southeast at 14 miles an hour. Little breeze from time to time, but overall, it is not bad out there. Area-wide, we have 78 degrees in Circleville, 74 in Lancaster, 72 Newark, 70 Coshocton, Mount Vernon, up to 77 in Bellefontaine and Marysville. So we're warming up nicely out there, well above normal today, about 10-ish degrees above average. Tomorrow, 75, still 7 above average. Then things are going to be on the blue side for a while, I'm afraid to say. Normal high is edging close to 70, and we're going to be coming up a fair bit short of that, wrapping up the month of April and heading into early May. In fact, I was looking at some data earlier, and a lot of it shows a cool pattern probably lasting through the first 10 or so days of the month of May. So that's not going to be a short-lived thing for us with this cooler weather settling in. For this afternoon, we have increasing clouds, highs around 79 with a southeast wind around 10 to 15, sometimes gusting a little bit higher. For tomorrow, we see a chance of a few showers here or there. 75 is the high, mainly morning rain on Wednesday, 63. Then we see the cooler temperatures last into the end of the week and early next week. See overnight lows in the lower 40s, even a 39 on the board Saturday morning. Ooh. And then we see highs in the upper 50s Friday, Saturday. Saturday morning, maybe some patchy frost in the rural areas in our northern towns, well north of Columbus, but should be a pretty sparse thing the way things are looking right now.
Yeah, and hopefully we're likely done with our freeze and everything. Hopefully, I mean, it could still happen. I know into May, but we're getting into May. Of course, here later this week, the first day of May, and not unusual to see temperatures into the upper 30s in the morning, but. Don't want to get any colder than that.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Enough.
Especially now that we've had more and more of these mild days of 70s and even 80s. It's kind of like when you slip back to 10 degrees below average after being 10 degrees above. It's like
what's going
on? Come on, I'm ready for this to be done, but not quite yet, I'm afraid.
Right. I will say, though, I do like these cooler days because then you don't have to run the air conditioning as much, especially when we have those 50s and 60s. So can't complain too much. Lower energy bill for at least a little bit of time. So there's some pros and cons to it.
And if you don't have allergy issues, you can at least open up the windows and get the free fresh air coming in.
That's true. And of course, we're watching the rain and everything coming in here. And while we may see some strong storms overnight here in central Ohio, other parts of the nation, of course, have been dealing with a lot of severe weather really over just this past weekend. Let's take a look at some video. First up, this is out of the Kansas City area, some flooding that followed storms overnight into early this morning. This again was in the Kansas City area. Pictures showing just some of the flooding that was reported.
And meanwhile, twin tornadoes were spotted just up the road in Oklahoma. This video is coming from the northern part of the state, with the video being captured by Travis Blackburn. Just amazing video there. There you see you can't see the funnel actually touching the ground, but was seeing the dust along the bottom.
Yeah, you can see some of that debris with that twister, and of course, some of the damage. And unfortunately, these powerful storms over the weekend did leave behind some damage. These views here is showing some of the aftermath with those down power lines in Miami County, Kansas. The sheriff's office says at least 10 structures were damaged in the storms.
And then in Harrisonville, Kansas, more damage being done by those weekend storms. These pictures are here coming from local affiliate KMBC, showing the cleanup efforts after severe storms moved through, leaving behind their mark in that area.
Yeah, and sadly, the impacts of these storms didn't stop at property damage. Violent weather is to blame for at least 2 deaths and half a dozen injuries in North Texas. This was a scene in Wise County. Powerful winds tore roofs off of homes and buildings. The storms left at least 20 families without a place to stay in nearby Parker County. The storms left 50 people homeless.
Yeah, just a lot of active weather. And of course, it's springtime, so we see this, but it feels like it's just been kind of unrelenting the past couple of weeks with, all sorts of storms and across the midsection of the country, from Wisconsin all the way down to Texas, over and over and over again. And of course, they're looking at more active weather this afternoon and already so far today.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen several severe thunderstorm warnings. I mentioned that tornado warning that was in effect for the St. Louis Metro, still active tornado warning. So let's talk about that severe weather threat that they're seeing here today. There is a pretty high risk, moderate risk of severe weather. This is a level 4 out of 5. So this almost to that high extreme potential for severe weather that they're seeing right around the St. Louis area and across a large part of the Midwest from Indiana down to Arkansas, even seeing that level 3 risk area. And we are talking about potential for several tornadoes, damaging wind gusts, and of course, even some large hail to be a concern here as we go through the rest of today. So here's a look at the current situation. You can see this line of thunderstorms that is developing and has been ongoing for really the last several hours, now moving out of Illinois into parts of Indiana. And there have been some active severe thunderstorm warnings with that line for potential winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. And then back towards the west, watching that area for some more storms to develop. that could eventually produce some tornadoes. So going to be watching how things really play out here as we go through the rest of this afternoon. Meanwhile, as we look back at the storm reports from the last 24 hours, we showed you some of the damage and some of the flooding, but all these storms that have produced hail, wind damage, and even a few tornadoes all the way back into parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, into northern Texas. And this is a current look at the situation right now with a tornado watch in effect from St. Louis, parts of Indiana, Illinois, actually back down to the southwest into Missouri, and then into Indiana. There is actually a severe thunderstorm watch. So it looks like the overall tornado potential really going to be focused a bit further to the south and west. But as we continue to watch this line building towards the east, you can see it is pretty much making a beeline towards the Indianapolis area. And then we're going to really have to watch how that storm continues to evolve. If it starts to weaken, likely going to be weakening as it gets a little bit closer to us here in Ohio, which is good news, but we are at least going to get some rain, maybe some gusty winds, a few rumbles of thunder, but hopefully we can just dodge that severe weather threat.
Yeah, some folks in my neighborhood were planting flowers over the weekend and were, having to water it because you've got to give them water right away when you plant them. And I was mentioning to the folks behind me as I was going for a walk, I said, you'll be able to have some free water coming up tonight. And she was very happy because it's like, okay, one less night of having to go out and water all the new flowers and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and with the rain tonight, of course, and then more rain on Wednesday, going to be sitting pretty good, at least for a little while.
Yeah, I think so. In fact, I was looking at some other stuff, and it's pretty good odds for a lot of us to get at least a half-inch of rain between these two next rounds of rain, which, will tide us over for a little while, which is certainly nice to see.
And I know some areas, especially southern Ohio, starting to see that drought condition starting to creep back into the southern part of the state. So some good rain. It'll be a good thing here for the next few days.
Very much so. Well, moving on now from the storms, kids today have, of course, countless ways to connect, but at one school, they're going to go old school.
Yeah, they're actually picking up a communication method popular in the 50s and one that is also still used today to monitor and report severe weather. Michael George introduces us to a group of teens learning about ham radio.
Calling the New York Long Island Student Skywarn Training Net. Good afternoon.
These Gen Z teens grew up with smartphones, FaceTime, and Zoom.
Spotter ID.
Spotter ID.
15.
15.
Stroke.
But in the Amateur Radio Club at Garden School in New York, students are learning how to voice chat the way people did 100 years before they were born. 16-year-old Tenzin is club president.
I did not know anything about radio before that. And I also find it cool that people have been communicating like this before phones even existed.
But this is more than a hobby. The students give actual weather reports used by the National Weather Service.
Humidity is 57%.
And if you think ham radio is outdated, club moderator John Hale says think of storms or natural disasters when you can lose cell service.
During emergencies, during Sandy, the police stations went down and they were able to use amateur radios to try to keep the system running.
I asked the Amateur Radio Club members to teach me the basics.
Do you have any tips for how I should read, or you guys have done this before?
So basically we always start with the preamble first.
Good afternoon, this is K2GSG Stroke for Whiskey X-Ray 2 Lima, India.
Head of school Chris Herman says the learning goes beyond the novelty of radio.
I think there's academic value, there's soft skill values, there's college application values, and generally it's just fun.
And it turns out communication is a skill that's timeless.
I'm not really that great with speaking with other people, so this club has taught me how to speak properly and clearly.
A lesson that's valuable on and off the air. Michael George, Charlie Bravo Sierra News, New York.
Taught him well there. Now to some news about our environment, though. This afternoon, volunteers are coming together to create a cleaner neighborhood.
Yeah, and this is the Spring Into service event where volunteers plant trees and create pollinator gardens. Volunteers started the project at Antrim Park on Olentangy River Road at 1. They actually just started this earlier today.
Yeah, very nice. And when it comes to our environment, of course, climate change is something we think about. It continues to concern U.S. health experts as it increases air pollution in some parts of the country.
Yeah, and a recent report actually states that the rates of quality of air Americans breathe finds millions of children are growing up with dangerous air. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has a look at the latest air pollution data and what families can do to mitigate the effects of it.
In its 27th annual State of Air report, the American Lung Association finds more than 152 million Americans are living in areas with unhealthy levels of air pollution.
We've made tremendous progress in cleaning the air over those 27 years, but we still have a long way to go.
The report tracks ground level ozone, also known as smog, and short and long-term particle pollution, which is a mixture of solid and liquid droplets suspended in the air and includes dust, dirt, soot, and smoke, which can cause asthma attacks, heart attacks, strokes, preterm births, and particle pollution can also cause lung cancer. By 2050, researchers predict there could be an increase of up to 4,300 premature deaths a year in the U.S. due to these pollutants.
Today, nearly half of all children in the United States live in a community impacted by unhealthy levels of ozone or particle pollution, or both.
Since children and teens' lungs are still developing and they tend to spend more time outdoors being active, experts say they're more susceptible to the effects of air pollution exposure. To mitigate that, be aware of local conditions, check daily forecasts for air quality in your area, and take action to reduce exposures where you can.
The other way we can be involved is to use our voice to really look at ways that we can convey to our local policymakers, whether city council or state legislators, or even to the EPA, that we need more progress on clean air, not less.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into 10 TV. First up, one more piece of storm video, this time from last week in Enid, Oklahoma, where a massive tornado ripped through.
Yeah, this one wild. This video is from a Garfield County Jail surveillance camera, captured the moment that powerful tornado moved through. Thankfully, no lives were lost in that storm, but pretty dramatic there. If we can take it full, you can see the tornado there off in the background.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, we know that was that EF4 that went through the Enid area. This was also affected the Vance Air Force Base there. Very powerful tornado. We've seen so many videos of it, and just wild to see it captured on that time lapse there from the county sheriff's office.
Yeah, I still can't get over it. It was an EF4 tornado at its strongest, and like no fatalities. That is just absolutely remarkable to me. Having seen how much damage and destruction there was, and we got away with none of that, which is it's an absolutely remarkable thing and a sign of how well prepared people are there and how good the forecasts were, especially since I think that tornado was kind of like, whoa, like this got really big, really fast.
It did. I mean, it really intensified, and thankfully, of course, there were no fatalities with that. And I mean, the winds were up to estimated to be at 170 to 175 miles per hour. So they're just remarkable at how strong that tornado ended up becoming.
Yeah, very intense. And finally today, firefighters in San Jose, California helped rescue a tree worker who suffered an apparent medical emergency while cutting a palm tree about 75 feet above the ground on Friday. The rescue was complex and took over an hour.
Yeah, and the crew was able to eventually remove the man from the tree and lower him safely to the ground to get medical assistance. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. No other details were made available. So some pretty wild stuff there.
Yeah, and you see everything moving around there. That wasn't, of course, the wind. That was just from the chopper blades.
Yeah, exactly,
it's amazing how they can keep it all together with those types of conditions going on all around them. But that's what they're trained to do. Like they have experience with it. But yeah, pretty amazing stuff there.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, of course, as we continue to watch our forecast, watching these showers and storms eventually rolling in here today. Again, watching that potential severe weather that's happening out across Missouri, Indiana, Illinois right now, and then how it's going to play out when it gets here.
Yeah, going to be seeing some storms coming up later on this evening, especially in the first part of the night as well. So once we get close to sunset, we'll be keeping an eye on that for sure. Of course, coming up at 4 o'clock, Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer is here with all the latest updates on our weather for the rest of today, going into tonight, and those rain chances through midweek, and then of course the cool down.
Yeah, the nice cool down
on its way for sure.
Yeah. So as we again talk about the forecast, you can always catch more of that online at 10tv.com.